I'm proud that I've always treated the blue-collar worker, and I consider myself in a certain way to be a blue-collar worker, that make this country run with tremendous respect.
President-elect Donald Trump's deal with Carrier and now SoftBank signal, at least symbolically, that he is very, very seriously about putting the American worker first. Even Time Magazine acknowledged that it's the everyday blue-collar worker that Donald Trump has been able to reach on his campaign, and of course that propelled him into the White House. Now, despite his wealth, the fancy dinners, although they're not always fancy, and John George, sometimes it could be a cheeseburger on his plane, he is, or has become at least, the people's president. Join me now to discuss Steve Rogers and Ford O'Connell. But first, Steve, you've got a major announcement that you'd like to make to our audience.
Yes, Charles, and it's an honor to make it here. Tonight, I am officially announcing my candidacy for governor of the state of New Jersey. Tomorrow at 12 noon, I'll be at the Madison Hotel in Morristown to unveil my plans for New Jersey. I'm
really, really happy for you. I'm proud of you. You saw a connection between Donald Trump and these blue-collar workers, everyday Americans, in your travels, particularly throughout the state of New Jersey. It's been a blue state for a long time. What makes you think you can win, and why is now the time?
Now's the time because the people of the state of New Jersey, as well as around the nation, are really fed up with the establishment political entities that we have around the country. Charles, taxes are crushing people. Donald Trump addressed that. I'm going to address it in New Jersey. Businesses are being hurt very badly by regulations. Donald Trump addressed it. I'm going to address that in New Jersey. What we have to do is bring the power back to the people, as Donald Trump has. And you said something earlier, and we've said all along, I knew from the beginning he was going to win because the pollsters were dead wrong. They took a scientific method in order to come to their conclusions. What Trump did, and what I saw, and I see in New Jersey, especially when I move forward, is the heart, soul, and spirit of the people. They're going to have, I'm sure, a lot of money. I'm going to be the poor guy on the campaign trail. But they could throw every bit of money they want at their campaign. We are going to win this race because we are going to touch the heart, soul, and spirit of the people of the state of New Jersey.
And Ford, of course, that's what Donald Trump was able to do, not just on his road to the White House, but even more so since then. I mean, he went to bat for the folks who work at Carrier. He challenged Boeing, one of the largest corporations on the planet. In front of the world, he challenged them. He's challenging Apple in front of the world, and he is putting everyone on notice. It's workers first.
Well, I must have sat on this panel for over a year and continually stated that 2016 was going to be the year of the working class voter. And they put Donald Trump over the top because basically he won them in predominantly rural counties. Understand why that occurred, though. Hillary Clinton was tone deaf on jobs. She was untrustworthy on trade. And they felt that she cared more about transgendered bathrooms than their livelihood. And Donald Trump hit over and over the issues of jobs and trade. And he knows what voters want, and that's jobs, optimism, and safety, and he really hit a home run, and he had the right message the entire time, even when I disagreed with some of his tactics.
Well, what about this, Ford? Also the notion that the establishment on both sides of the aisle, I think it's more than being tone deaf, guys. I think that they're so elitist, and they were so used to ping-ponging the folks between them. Okay, you get them for 4 years, we'll get them for 4 years. They've all taken the Americans for granted, particularly those from the so-called flyover states.
Well, that's exactly right. Look, I could hear the howls from the Ohio River and from Macomb County and Michigan all the way in the Beltway, but they couldn't see that because they didn't understand that voters were hurting and why they were hurting. And frankly, let me tell you something. You know, the Democrats will claim that Donald Trump was selling, blue-collar voters fairy dust. I disagree with that, but at least he was selling them something because Hillary Clinton was only offering them, we'll retrain you. And when you hear that, it is telling you they don't have your interests in hand.
And real quick, back to you, Steve. You make this, you're going to make the announcement formal tomorrow in New Jersey. You've got a state in many ways that is reflective of all the problems. A lot of people have left that state. A lot of hardworking people have left that state. You've got a large influx of illegal immigrants there who seem to have preferential treatment. You've got an economy that's very shaky right now, the highest taxes in the country. You've got your work cut out for you.
I have my work cut out for me, but Charles, we're going to bring it all together because we're going to unify people. We're going to unify Democrats, Republicans, and independents, and we're going to pull this state together. One thing about the GOP, we've got to be a little bit more compassionate to people, and we've got to be more inclusive. So I'm going to bring that that to the state. And, I'm a law enforcement officer. You want to see something done with the crime rate in New Jersey? I'm sending a signal to drug dealers who should be classified as terrorists. You better pack your bags and get out of the state now before I get to Trenton, because, Charles, heroin, for example, has devastated this nation, and it's devastating that state. So that's the position I'm going to take.
Steve, about 6 years ago, a white kid in my neighborhood, about 19 years old, wandered into my backyard and died of a heroin overdose. Comes from an upper middle class, even wealthy family, and he died of heroin. So good luck with that. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you both very much. Well, the major market